Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while since I've done a video. I apologize. Been a busy guy. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a little known secret about the older, really right stuff TQC 14 tripods. They're a really awesome little travel tripod, but they're super expensive. The new TFCs are $800 and $900, and back in the day, 4 or 5 years ago, these were the same price. But lately, I've been seeing these go for as little as $200 and $300. Again, this is the older TQC. I got to make sure I get it right. That has the center column that everybody seems to be getting away from. Most professionals don't use the center column and argue that the center column, when raised, you lose stability. And I agree to a point. So for all of you older, really right stuff TQC-14 owners, I'm going to do a quick conversion that really right stuff sells to convert this to a Apex style tripod, like the newer TFC 14 style tripods. And just a heads up, lately I've been seeing these older TQC tripods going for as little as $200 and $300 online, places like KEH and Adorama used department. So let's jump in, and I'm going to show you what it's all about. So as I mentioned before, the TQC-14 is a very cool portable tripod. It measures only, when collapsed, it's 17.7 or 5 inches long. So it'll fit in any travel bag, airport bag, or on the side of a camera tech bag. Very nice. But I find myself not using this extension pole at all, because I like to use this to get low to the ground. When fully extended, it's 47 inches tall, and with this tube fully extended, it makes it 58 inches tall. But again, and I'm 6'2", so when I'm going to need a tall tripod, I use my other 77-inch tripod to take along with me. But for traveling, this makes a perfect travel companion. My only complaint, like I said, is this extension tube. And the reason, one of my complaints, you might be asking, why would I want to switch this to an Apex style tripod? And one of the reasons is this butterfly nut. This butterfly nut sticks out past the head, the plate of this extension tube. So when I want to use a bigger ball head, such as my BH40 by Really Right Stuff, I can't, because those butterfly wing nut, this locking wing nut here, protrudes past the flat part, and I can't run this ball head. And sometimes I want to use my DSLR or my larger cameras, and so I can't use this bigger ball head. So that's one reason. Another reason is this new Apex, which basically converts this TQC-14 into a TFC-14 that sells for $800 or $900 now. Converts this into a flat Apex with nothing protruding out of the bottom down here. So then I can get super low to the ground. And that's typically what I use this tripod for. It's so light and very travel companion orientated that I take it with me on my backpack. It's usually on my backpack all the time. And I use it for low ground shots. So with the combination of this new Apex and how far I can spread these legs and get down low to the ground, well, I'll show you at the end of the video. So the conversion kit was $89. And like I said, in some cases, I've seen this go for $250 and $300 on eBay, KEH, and in Adorama's used section, because it's an older tripod and it no longer sells for for $800 and $900. And so to pick this up for $300, $200, $300, even $400 is a super good deal, and I would tell everybody to get it. So let's go ahead and do the conversion. I'm going to show you how simple it is. We're going to start by undoing these bolts using, when you get the kit, it comes with the apex, it comes with 2 wrenches and brand new sleeves and nuts and bushings. So we're just going to start with one of the legs, and we're going to go ahead and unscrew one of the legs. And they do have Loctite on them from the factory, so the first time you take your tripod apart, it may take a little force. I've had this one apart a couple times because I keep all my tripods, as you should. I keep them greased and ready for the day. So we're just going to take that out, and then we'll use this key to push out the other end. And if it gives you a hard time, just jiggle the leg a little bit, and that cylinder should slide right out. So we'll put these off to the side. Now you'll notice that there's 2 brass bushings in here, and we're not going to need those because it came with brand new bushings. So, but this ratcheting system with the spring in it could pop out, and so if you just keep your finger on that while you lift this up, and those bushings will fall off. And keep your finger on it and set that off to the side just like that. You can put tape on it if you want. And so we're just going to continue this process all the way around to get this tube slider apex off. So we'll just go to the next side here and do the same thing. And like I said, mine's easier because I take my tripods apart. It's very important. People, when they get a tripod, some people, just get it and forget it, and that's not a good idea. You should maintain your tripod just like you maintain your car or anything else. Keep it lubed and greased, and you won't have any issues down the road. So again, we're sliding this barrel out. Some may come out easy, like this one. This side came out pretty easy. And some might come out hard. And again, I'm going to keep my finger on this ratcheting locking system and move it to the side for now. And then we got one more to go here. Got such big hands. These little tiny bolts. So I've had this tripod in my arsenal for many years, and I'm super happy with this tripod. It was a great investment, and yes, I paid $895 for this tripod back in the day, but I have no complaints. So it's been a good tripod for me. It's been to the Florida Keys, it's been to Arizona, it's been all across the United States, and it's served me well. But it's been time for an upgrade, and that's what this is an upgrade. Okay, so once you have, I have all these bushings and all these parts. I'm going to save these for down the road if I ever want to put it back the way it was, and then all that's left is this centerpiece and this apex. So we'll just put that off to the side. So again, this new apex, another cool thing about this new apex is it has 1/4 20 threads, 3 of them, 1 on each side. So if you're like me and you like to have your cell phone clipped to your tripod, or maybe you're running a Ninja or screen, or just a bunch of cool aftermarket products that you can screw onto this thing. Okay, so again, the kit comes with this tube of silicone grease. I guess it's silicone. Well, let me see what it says. Oh, synthetic grease, and it comes with brand new barrels, and you can see mine are used because again I've done this before and have converted it already. But I wanted to take it apart and show you how easy this is. So with the grease, you peel the top off, and we're just gonna lightly put some grease on one of these sleeves, I guess, and we'll just rub it with our fingers. It's a little messy, but you can wipe up after you're done. And then what I found to put this thing together is it's best to put the grease on these brass bushings. Put a little grease on them, and the reason I do that first on both sides is because the grease helps hold it onto the apex while you're reassembling it. So I'll do that to 2 of these right now. Again, just using my fingers to wipe the grease on the bushings. So once I get them kind of in place, then holding my finger on the locking mechanism on the ratcheting system, I'm going to slide this over top of those 2 bushings. Now when you get these and they're brand new, it's going to be a very tight fit. So just be patient, take your time, and they should slide on. Then with the barrel that I've already pre-greased, I'll push that into one side, and I've already put the screw on one side also. And I'll try to slide it in, and you can see it's giving me, I'm pushing, but it's giving me a hard time. So what I would do is take one of your Allen wrenches, stick it through the hole, and kind of line up that bushing. If you have to lift the leg a little bit to jiggle it, you can. And you can just kind of manipulate that bushing around until it slides all the way in. And then I'll take the screw for the other side, and I'll just hand tighten that, and then I'll go ahead and tighten this whole thing together. Now the screws that I got with it came with thread lock already on the screws. If yours does not, then you're going to want to buy some thread lock. Blue Loctite is a good one to use, and you can get that from Amazon.com or anywhere, your local hardware store. And you want to put thread lock on, because once you adjust these and tighten it, that thread lock will help keep these locked in the place that you want them to, so that your legs don't come loose later on down the road. So we're just tightening it up. And again, I guess lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, right? And I'm not going to get them too tight right yet until I get all of them on, because I want to adjust them. And the way you adjust them would be to tighten them or loosen them to your liking, to how tight you want the legs to be when they're in the collapsed position, so they don't open up on you when you're holding it by one leg. So I got that. Well, I guess I got that too tight. But that's okay, because we're going to adjust it. So there's one done. So we're just going to repeat the step over and over again 2 more times, putting grease on each of the brass bushings. Another thing I use this for is my slider. If any of you are into sliding videos, again, this is a very small yet sturdy, super sturdy and stiff tripod that will give you the stability you need with a slider. And I'll show you an example at the end of the video. And you can get your slider super low to the ground. And again, I'm going to hold that ratcheting system down while I slide it over these 2 bushings into place. So yeah, so for a slider, to get the stability down on the ground that you need with the slider, this used or older tripod is a dream stability wise. And we're just going to tighten this side up again, this next one up. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, right? Sorry, my big hands are in the way of the video here. So that one's pretty snug. And now we're going to move on to the last one. Again, applying grease to both sides of the bushings. And again, I'm using my fingers. You might want to wear some rubber gloves if you want to get grease all over your fingers and all over the tripod. But I'll clean it up with some alcohol when I'm done. Some rubbing alcohol or denatured alcohol. And then I'm going to apply, the grease that's on my fingers is probably enough to apply to this barrel, but I'll put a little more on. And then, now here's another thing. These have springs in them. Now I don't know if you can see that little spring in there. See if it'll focus on that spring in there. I don't know if you can see it. If your ratcheting silver piece here comes out by accident, it's fine. Don't freak out. But you have to push the spring down in such a way that this metal, come on, focus, that this metal nubby sticking out fits inside of that hole in the spring. So in other words, if your spring is tilted up, just push it back down. If your fingers are big like mine, you can use a tool to push that spring down. And see that hole right there? I don't know if you can see that or not. So that's where this little nubby goes on this silver piece, and that's the ratcheting piece. And it fit. Oop, is that upside down? Yeah, that fits upside down. Sorry. Inside that spring. I have to look and see what I'm doing here. And it's not a bad idea, you know, when I've taken this apart before, I've greased the bottom of this silver piece too. To put a little grease from your finger right here, it'll help it slide. Is grease going to attract some dust? Yeah, it is. But if you're like me and you like to tinker, then you take your tripod apart once a month, once every 6 months, once a year, and you clean it up, and it just depends on how much you're going to use it. So again, that nubby piece fits in there, and now it's spring-loaded again. So back to what we were doing, which is sliding these over top of those bushings, and then taking your barrel that you pre-greased and sliding that in. And again, if you have to move this arm up and down to slide that in, that helps. Or if you have to use your tool to guide it, that helps too. So this is the last one, so we're just going to put this screw back on. And then we'll tighten them down. Yeah, I was on, was it KEH.com or Adorama.com? I like to browse the used section. You know, one man's junk is another man's treasure. And I saw one of these tripods for $339 used, and I was like, oh my god, I want it. Should I buy? You know, I don't need it. I got one. Why do I want to get it? So I called a buddy of mine, and he said he wanted it, but he didn't get it. And then sure enough, it was gone like the next day. So you really gotta, look for those bargains and jump on them when you see them. Don't procrastinate, because somebody else is looking at them too. Now the other thing to notice is that this apex, although pretty much the same size as the original apex, I don't think it is though, because the difference between this apex and the original apex with the sliding collar, extension tube, whatever you want to call it, these legs now seem, I can't put my finger in between them here. And with this one you can. So not only are you saving weight with this, I'm sure it's not a lot, but I think it says the specs on their website, but you're making it smaller, more compact, and easier to carry. So now this spread right here is the same spread all the way down the whole length of the collapsed tripod. All right, so back to what we were doing. So again, see how loose this is? So because there's Loctite on these already, I'm going to go ahead and adjust them to the tension that I want simply by tightening them. And I'll check and make sure how tight, because I don't want them super tight, you know. And this goes for any tripod that you own. Most tripods are built the exact same way, and you should be maintaining your tripod and keeping them clean. You don't want to get out on the field and something breaks or it's stuck because there's a stone in there from your last shoot. You know, it's very important. Yes, I like to tinker. So maybe that helps me out a little bit because I like to tinker. But it's a hobby, right? Or maybe it's your profession. And if it's your profession, then I'm not telling you something you don't already know. So again, I'm at this one a little tighter. Well, maybe even more tighter than that. A little more. There we go. Not too tight, but tight enough to where it's going to stay collapsed when I fold it. I want it to stay folded. I don't want it to unfold by itself. Of course, the tighter you make it, the more wear these bushings are going to get from opening and closing. But really, Right Stuff sells replacement parts. I think the bushings are not that expensive. Okay, so I think, let me see. No, that one's a little looser than, maybe not. And as you work, that grease is gonna loosen up a little bit anyways, and the bushings are gonna continually get looser as time goes on, because they are just brass. So, you know, but we're probably talking years of use, not weeks or days of use, I'm sure. Okay, that one's good. Yeah, this one's still, let me tighten that just a little more. Okay. Let me grab a towel here and some rubbing alcohol. And I'm not going to spray, I have a bottle of rubbing alcohol. I'm not going to spray it directly on the tripod. I'm going to spray it right on the towel and then just go around and clean up any excess grease that I got. You could use denatured alcohol, whatever you got laying around the house. If your wife's got some witch hazel, that's fine. There we go. So we've gone from this tube mechanism with this wing nut that tightens down and allows you to adjust the tube. And again, one of my biggest complaints is that I can't put a BH40, which is a 40 millimeter ball head. I can't put a BH40 on here. I can't put my Enduro ball head on here without extending this tube. And the longer you extend this tube, you create instability. I don't know if you can see that wiggling, even when I tighten this up. Yes, it tightens up to my hand, but in a real world situation, when you're out doing landscape photography or portrait or whatever you're going to use these tripods for, any professional will tell you, and has told me anyways, that this is the weak link in the system. So so that's one of the reasons why I don't like these extension tubes. Yes, they're cool and they get you up higher when you need to, but the right tool for the right job, I guess, is my thought. And again, I barely used this tube. Yes, it got up to 58 inches longer with this tube, and I'm 6'2", so when I'm standing, it gave me a higher point of view. But again, I couldn't run this ball head when it was collapsed. So for me, that was the main reason why I wanted to switch to this new Apex style. See now look see, I can screw that ball head right on there. So that, and the other reason, which I'm about to show you, which is to run my slider. This little 17-inch, 17.5 or 6 or 7 inch long tripod is so stable when it gets down to the ground. And I run an Edelchrome slider, and the slider fits right on here and is so stable. And so let's switch over and I'll show you that. Okay, so as you can see, it was easy to do the conversion, and look at it. Isn't that the coolest thing? I no longer have this darn wing nut protruding, keeping me from using my BH40 ball head or any other larger ball head that I want to use for my video equipment, camera equipment, whatever. It's super simple to do. I think it was $89.99 or $85.99 on Really Right Stuff's website. I'll leave the link. And they make 3 different versions of this for 3 of their older tripods. So if you have an older Really Right Stuff tripod, again, this is the TQC-14, and it's now become the TFC-14 for $85. So let me show you real world what I would use it for. Again, the reason I wanted to do this conversion was not only to be able to put a bigger ball head on, and I'll just screw this BH40 on, and you can see here that there's no issues at all, and a bigger ball head yet, because this tripod, even though it's small travel tripod, can handle a 25-pound rig setup. So DSLR that you have, and look at how small it is. Look at how small this collapses. 17 point, I keep saying 5. It's 17 point, whatever. It's under 18 inches. You can fit this in a travel bag on a plane. It weighs next to nothing. By doing this conversion, I've lowered the weight of it even more. But I think really the main reason that I did this conversion was for my slider, my new slider that I got in a previous video that I did. Look at how low that is. 2 fingers tall. So what is that? 2.5 inches, 2 inches from the ground. So let me show you a real world. Here's my slider, my Edelchrome slider. I'm just going to screw this on to the bottom of my slider and show you how stable this is. If I can do this all at once here, let's see. Ugh. Come on now. I guess I shouldn't have put my camera rig on there. Batteries are falling out. All right, there we go. Look at how low and stable I can get my slider down to the ground. Let me get these lenses and stuff out of the way. Look at that. Totally stable, super stable. Get a full slide with my Edelchrome M slider is what I'm running. Again, I'll put a link in the description, or I'll put a card up here to my Edelchrome slider review. But yeah, so am I crazy? Why would somebody do this? Again, the professionals don't even use these, and I'm not near any professional, but I can see the difference in a few reasons, the reasons that I've talked about, why I would want to do this conversion and why you would want to do this conversion. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was just a short video showcasing the conversion I did, the Really Right Stuff conversion to this super low carbon fiber stable tripod. And again, I've seen them online super cheap. So now would be the time to pick one up and do the conversion and have a $900 travel tripod for $300 or $400 bucks. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.